we are going to do this is I'm going to call out your name and ask you to introduce yourself, so we don't have what we all know are some of those awkward pauses as people try to figure out if I'm going to introduce myself next or not. So if that's cool with everybody, we'll start running through Dennis Alexander.
Yes, my name is Dennis Alexander, of course, and I'm from out here in the Milton area. I have a youth track and field organization called the EDA Flyers Youth Track Team, and we work with the youth specifically here in Millington and surrounding Shelby County areas. I'm kind of new to this, so I'm kind of getting a feel on what I want to get out of the program and what we should be focused on here. So I'm just listening in today and making sure that I'm getting a knowledge of what the program is all about.
That's great. Thank you, Dennis. Karen Vogelsang.
Well, I thought you were going to go in alphabetical order, so I figured I was near the end. Good morning, everybody. My name is Karen Vogelsang. I'm the executive director at Arise to Read. Have been a teacher in Memphis City, Shelby County schools in early childhood for 15 years. Really just kind of echoing some of the things that are on the chat, just to get to know each other and find ways to collaborate and go deeper in our support of the children throughout our community.
Thank you. Anthony Branch.
Anthony Branch, Chief Operating Officer with Memphis Leadership Foundation, and I would love to see our shared best practices come together so that we can galvanize our efforts as a committee.
Awesome. Antoine Clark.
Good morning, Antoine Clark, Executive Director of Southside Wildcats. Again, just echoing what all the others have. Just a collaborative way to work together meaningfully to serve the community well.
Thank you. April Carter.
April Carter with Momentum Nonprofit Partners, echoing what everyone else said, and just to see and to hear from all of the organizations that's doing wonderful work and how we all can support one another and work together with Shelby County.
Great. And if you want to, you can just say ditto and break off there. Dawn Vincent.
Yes, I'm with the University Aviation Association. We are focused on getting individuals into colleges and universities majoring in aviation.
Thank you. Candace Freeman.
Good morning.
What's your organization, Candace?
Center, and our mission is to empower children and families to effectively deal with behavior, social, and emotional challenges. We do a lot of work with court involved.
All right. Thank you. Courtney Richardson.
Hello, I'm Courtney Richardson with the Peer Power Foundation, and so we provide public school students with private school education, and I hope that we can figure out ways to support students who in the area of emotional learning, and that in turn would impact the parents as we attempt to address those adverse childhood experiences. So finding a way to galvanize community around supporting students at a very local level in the school.
Thank you, Courtney.
Gonna be
Thank you, Courtney. I do that to Courtney. Craig Littles.
Good morning, everyone. I'm multitasking today. My name is Craig Littles. I'm a sergeant, retired recently from the police department. I'm the executive director of Memphis Shelby Power Program, Police Activities League. We encourage youth and adults to work in a fun and safe environment, and hoping that those youth that we work with learn to respect the laws that officers enforce on a regular basis. We recently worked with, we have.
Okay, Craig, I'm gonna cut you off there. Thank you, brother.
All right, no problem.
Thank you. Dana Wilson.
Good morning, Dana Wilson from Bridges, and my hope is that we can collaborate and particularly think about social and emotional wellness and mental health for youth right now.
Thank you. Dennis Alexander.
I was first up. I already been.
Oh, you already, I'm sorry. I ran across you again. Dawn, did I do Dawn Vincent? Dawn Vincent?
She went already too.
Okay, I'm sorry. Running through this list, it keeps changing. Elizabeth DuPont. Not here. Felicia Pete.
Hi, I'm Felicia Pete, and I'm actually working in Bull Road. I work with MBI PALS with our virtual learning center. So right now we have about 50 kids. So if you see me getting pulled on, that's what's happening. I'm working in that role right now, and I'm also the education director with WKNO. And I just hope the collaboration. I'm interested in finding out about networking and the collaboration.
Thank you. Janet Boscarino. We can't hear you, Janet. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm with Clean Memphis. We do environmental education with kids around town and about 25 schools in Shelby County. So I'm excited to learn more from you guys and work together more collaboratively.
Thank you. John Blount.
Hello, I'm John Blunt with Literacy Mid-South. I'm excited, like everybody, for the collaboration and also to see what we can do with the county government.
Judy Martin. Karen. Oh,
good morning. I'm sorry.
There we go, Judy. There you go.
Hey, yeah. So just hello. I am actually a member of a different group. I appreciate the opportunity to sit in, and as you all are the first of the subgroups to subcommittees to meet. So thank you, and I admire and appreciate the work that you all are doing. Thank you. I didn't expect to say anything, so I'm sorry.
No problem. Katie Spurlock.
Hey, Katie Spurlock with the Urban Child Institute. I put my hope in the chat, but basically for better coordination that will lead to equity for children and youth in Memphis and Shelby County.
Nice. Kiana Cheers. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong.
That's correct. Good morning. My name is Kiana Cheers. I'm the Executive Director of Beyond Educating Foundation, and I hope that we're able to help youth to tap into their full potential.
Nice. Kristen Martin.
Hi, I'm Kristen Martin. I'm with Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Memphis. I serve as the Volunteer and Community Outreach Coordinator. I'm looking to build partnerships during this time and in the near future with organizations that we may have partnered with before or new. Thank you.
Nice, thank you. LaShandra Robinson. Chandra, you there? Okay, Letitia Nelson.
Hey, I'm Letitia Nelson. I am the Executive Director of Children and Family Enrichment at Idlewild. We're right there on the corner of Union and Evergreen. And I am looking for us to build some kind of collaborative shared services for families and children.
Nice. Linda Point, thank you. Linda Poindexter, sorry.
Hi, can you?
We can hear you. You got it. There you go.
I'm the Executive Director of Youth Advance, which is a division of High Calling Services, which is a 501c3 here in Memphis. We work with youth looking to level the playing field between their social exposure and education, and we support female DBD.
Thank you. My friend Marcos Villa.
Buenos dias, Marcos Villa from Freedom Preparatory Academy. Looking forward to partner with organizations that are looking for a holistic approach on education.
Thank you, sir. Margaret Caulfield.
Hey, I'm Margaret Caulfield from the YMCA of Memphis in the Mid-South. We're currently feeding children of Shelby County and also providing virtual learning academies. So just looking to work together with everyone to find more ways that we can help support the children of Shelby County.
Wonderful. Reggie Davis.
Reggie Davis with Seeding Success, dittos all around.
Nice. Rob Hughes.
Hey, Rob Hughes, VP of Development at Porter Leith. We provide
a lot of early childhood services across Shelby County, and echoing Reggie and Katie, ditto on those points.
Thank you. Ruth Abigail Smith.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ruth Abigail Smith with Angel Street. We do music and mentoring for young ladies, and ditto all around.
Sanji Branch.
Good morning. I am with Communities and Schools of Memphis, and I'm hoping that we might collaborate in a way that could lead to the adoption of a community schools model that ensures equitable access to resources and services for students in Title I schools.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sanji. Stephanie Butler.
Good morning. I'm representing Agape Child and Family Services, really hoping that we as community partners through this process can better coordinate with both Shelby County government and the school districts and supporting stronger supports for students and their families.
Nice. Sylvia Martinez.
Hola, good morning, everyone. Good to see a lot of you. I'm with Girls Inc. Memphis, and I echo everything that everybody said.
Thank you. And Vida Jamu. Okay. I think we got through anybody. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Dr. Trish Strange.
Hi, I'm Dr. Trish Strange. I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of Hope for Healing Ministries, and ditto with what everybody else said.
Wonderful. Was there anybody that
Yep. Hey, Cardell, Lee Mansberg from Junior
Oh, Lee,
Achievement.
thank you.
There we go, from Junior Achievement, and just excited to hope this group can create a shared mission so that we can find some creative collaborations to do more good.
Wonderful. And I got a message from Vida, so I think she was trying to say something. Are you there?
Oh yeah, did you guys hear me?
We didn't. There you go.
Oh, I'm
Now
sorry.
you got it.
All right, thank you. Vida Ajamu with the National Civil Rights Museum, Manager of Community Outreach. My hope is that we create a plan that will help the youth around the city, but also execute.
Wonderful. That's great. Did I miss anybody?
Yes, I'm Lamar Walker, pastor of Christ Community Church and Executive Director of Urban Community Ministry. We have a holistic approach in helping our children.
Thank you, Pastor Walker. All right. Did we make it through, everybody? Wonderful. We did that in great time, but we thought it was important because we can't be in person for us to be able to see each other and actually hear folks' names so that we can at least try to feel more connected, which hopefully we'll get to as we go into breakout groups. I think the next thing that we are doing is, what, Cedric, as I try to pull my agenda back up.
No, you're all right. We're going to pass it off to Janet. She's going to introduce her team. I did want to make sure that we understood today it's really about our sort of a high level mission is, so I want to give us a motto. This group has a motto, getting stuff done. So we're going to actually, that's our push and pull. We've all met 100 times before, but this particular effort is designed specifically to really literally get some things done that help improve outcomes in our community. So Janet, you can introduce your team and then move forward in the presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I would like to introduce myself and my team. I'll start with Alex Schwartz. Alex Schwartz, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone.
And Taylor, are you there?
Hello, my name is Quinn Taylor. I'm an intern with the Office of Engagement and Outreach.
And Alex, I think I cut you off. I think you were about to say something.
No, it's just that I work with you in the Office of Community Engagement and Outreach.
Wonderful. Alex and Quinn, we were very lucky to have them on our team, and they've been instrumental in this process. I'm Janet Lowe. I'm Manager of Community Partnerships here at Shelby County. Really appreciate everyone coming and committing your time and energy and passion. I have the privilege of also serving in the Division of Community Services and head the Office of Early Childhood and Youth and co-chair the Early Success Coalition. So I do have some background in this particular subcommittee field. I've also worked in, this is my first public sector job, and I've worked in nonprofits for 20 years before. So, it's no surprise to all of you that people in nonprofits, are optimistic, passionate, persistent problem solvers. So, we can go anywhere to hear what's wrong. But I really think that nonprofits are unique in their ability to really identify the problem and help to solve it. Nonprofit leaders tend to be believers. You get your hands dirty. You have the same challenges that the public sector does, but we go about them in different ways. And so that's why we're here together. We started this nonprofit committee because the nonprofit sector reached out and said, we need stronger communication, coordination, and a formal voice with the county. And we agreed. So we work very closely with many of the organizations that are here today. But we also know that we can do better in coordinating services, convening groups, and making sure that this two-way street isn't jammed. So we started this nonprofit committee. There we go. Okay, this is the agenda for today. And what I'm going to do now is do the overview of the nonprofit committee. We already did the introductions. These are the breadth of organizations that are represented here today. And this is our goal. So if you know Mayor Harris and Dorcas Young Griffin, you know that this must be an inclusive process. So we invited any nonprofit who wanted to participate to have a seat at the table. And we built a really big table. We have 160 nonprofits divided between 4 subcommittees. Leadership, when possible, has someone from a nonprofit and someone from the public sector, so that at the start, we're already working in tandem. The 2 leads for each subcommittee will join Dorian Spears from Momentum Nonprofit Partners and myself and Mayor Harris to form the leadership team. So the leads are, as you can see, Lauren Kennedy and Amber Hamilton for Arts and Culture. You already have Cedric and Cardell here from Children, Youth, and Education. We have Harold Collins and Kyla Guyette for Workforce Development. And we have Dr. Judy Martin and Eli Cloud from Health and Human Services. And so Mayor Harris and I are co-chairing the leadership team meetings. The leadership intentionally represents the large established nonprofits as well as the small and starting out nonprofits. It represents nonprofits that are struggling. It represents nonprofits with large secured funds. All of that was intentional because we wanted to really reflect the diverse nonprofit ecosystem. Whoops, I think I went too fast. So this just gives you a snapshot of all of the nonprofits that are participating in this committee to really show you both the areas of reach as well as their office locations, which you can see is revolved largely around the Poplar corridor. But I do think that when you talk about the reach of the nonprofits that you all are coming from, that we did do a good job of making sure that the county as a whole is reflected in the work that we all do. I think it's important that we do note that while we're eager to hear from everybody at this, as this advisory body, it must be noted that membership in this committee won't have any effect on the likelihood or the ability or likelihood, one way or the other, on receiving any government support. But the mayor and the Division of Community Services is eager to learn how we can improve coordination and communication. So we definitely don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to build upon previous efforts. And so we also want to be aspirational. So while this committee is unique in nature because we're very inclusive, it's not unheard of. So there are models across the country. There aren't that many, to be honest, but some, and I wanted to share a bit of their accomplishments just to give us a sense of what else might be possible. So Denver has an Office of Strategic Partnerships. And it serves as a liaison between the city of Denver and its nonprofit sector. And they're kind of like this committee and Momentum rolled into one. They focus on capacity building, sustainability, professional development. They have a public interface that's really cool where you can learn how to start a nonprofit, do business with the city, professional development opportunities, and they have a whole collaborative fund that's kind of like the community foundation. And they're all about also improving contracting and payment efficiencies. They created all of that with hopes of bringing in more federal dollars. In New York, there's an interagency coordinator for non-for-profit services, and that's also similar to Denver's. Their also focus is to foster cross-sector partnerships, and it really sets standards for nonprofits doing business with the government and sets up systems to streamline and reduce redundancy and help nonprofits get paid quickly by the government. They also, what I really was interested in is they identify and then encourage sort of model nonprofits and agencies to be ambassadors for other nonprofits. And the big question they always ask is how many nonprofits pass up on funding and why, and then try to address that why. And then Philadelphia has something called Advancing the Mayor's Initiatives with Funding. It's sort of like the Community Foundation, but it's specifically related to addressing community needs assessment and a strong established marketing plan to make sure that everyone has access to those services and knows about it. And so those are the national endeavors. These are much larger communities than Shelby County though. So I also want to pay attention to some local models that we were really looking at when we were forming this committee. And then one, of course, is the COVID task force, and the other is the Memphis Nonprofits Demand More collective. You know, both convened different organizations, very different organizations, but then we're laser focused on a real single issue, and then identified problems, identified suggestions and solutions, and really moved the needle and engaged all levels in both the process and the progress. And I think we would be remiss to not take note of those two local models and really charge ourselves as the Children, Youth, and Education Subcommittee to really laser focus and zero in on some key priorities that you think should be discussed, and then key concrete suggestions and solutions. The other thing too to note is you all filled out a survey before meeting, and you know, we asked all the participating nonprofits to share your initial thoughts about expectations and hopes for this committee. And here's what they shared, and special thanks to my colleague Alex Schwartz, who prepared a detailed summary, and we'd be happy to share that with you if you like. So we started with an open-ended question. What do you want the nonprofit committee to accomplish? And so the answers revolved largely around communication and collaboration, just as evidenced as everyone's introductions today. I was actually surprised that the focus was on connectivity between nonprofits, and collaboration and communication between the nonprofits and the county was sort of secondary, which I thought was interesting. So, you know, the main takeaway was we want to coordinate efforts more, identify gaps, share data and resources, and align strategies. Not surprisingly, there was also a strong interest in funding. So identifying sources of funding, helping to make connections with philanthropic entities, and really building capacity for the ask. So you also want to improve access to existing services through strong coordination and communication. So when asked to identify immediate needs, you said direct financial assistance for residents, continuation of services in person, obviously during COVID, employment opportunities, professional development, and technical assistance and support. And so finally, we also asked if you currently receive funding from Shelby County government, and about a third of the total nonprofits that responded said that they do. I have to say the majority of them were in health and human services, 0 in art and culture, and then you know, a good amount in children, youth, and education. So obviously for all of this, we have a million follow-up questions, and we do know which organization said what, so that we can have that follow-up. But this is just some context as we go into this work to help frame where everybody is coming from. My big takeaway is that your organizations are just hungry for more strategic communication and collaboration amongst yourselves and the government. And you want to coordinate services more, identify gaps, funding, be ready for funding, and work together to get the most bang for the buck. And you want to help bring in more resources. So no big surprises from the survey, but definitely something to chew on. And then I'll just close with this. So, you know, that's the nonprofit committee as a whole. The leadership team has already met once, and we have determined we want each subcommittee to really identify key, concrete, and specific priorities for their sector, something that really speaks to the needs of the residents that you all serve, and addresses the barriers to their success and your success as an organization. So the leadership team meets between the subcommittee meetings. So there's always a flow of information from one to the other. So we're continually informing each other's work. And that's all for my part.
All right, thank you so much, Janet. Awesome job doing sort of setting the tone for this. I wanted to now transition, pun intended, to a discussion about the 2018 transition report. Cardell's gonna walk us through piece by piece, but I wanted to just make sure we took the time to take a step back to put our current work into a context. So I've already iterated that we are really about getting things done. And so that also requires us to take a look back at some things that maybe had started and maybe not be in completion. And so you may recall, and upon the mayor's transition into office, there was a report conducted, compiled, that focused on 4 areas that the mayor and his administration would be moving in a direction to complete. I'll introduce those 4 areas, and then Cardell will walk us through each one. And then at the conclusion of that, we'll bring it back, and I'll give you some reflections on what the leadership team discussed in our last meeting. So the 4 focus areas as a result of the transition team included educational investments for equity and results. Number 2, great school facilities. Number 3, holistic support for children and youth, excuse me. And then number 4, youth opportunity for the future. And so you can bag the slides back up, and Cardell's gonna walk us through each one, just highlighting a couple of bullets in each of those categories. Cardell.
Thanks, Cedric. And just to highlight, the reason that we're using this is that, as many of you know on this call, we do a lot of plans around here, and sometimes we don't refer back to them as starting points for us to continue to do work. And so we thought it was important that there's a lot of work and a lot of input on putting together this education report. I worked on it, so I know. From the transition, and we didn't want to have that be wasted work, and we thought it was a good starting point for us to review. I'm going to also put in the chat a link to the document that we will be using for notes later on when we do breakouts, but also in that document is this same information for each of the focus areas for you to review and to hopefully start to pull up, please, for those who have computers in front of them, because we'll need some people to take notes. So if you can pull this document up that's in the chat, you can also refer to these goals, recommendations in the beginning of it, and then that's what we'll use as we go into the breakout rooms. So thank you. So as we go through this, and I'll go through this pretty quickly just to hop through to highlight. So the focus area 1, education investments for equity and results. Of course, we all know that there's been a focus on high quality pre-K. So expanding of that was a recommendation. Increasing early childhood education and support programs. Increasing the literacy rates. We all know that our literacy rates need to be increased, especially in the early grades, so that they go across the board and provide a sound framework. And leading into the next recommendation of increasing graduation rates and readiness of graduates to go into post-secondary opportunities. Enhancing equity in funding schools by needs-based targeted funds. And we've worked on some of that, a targeted fund. So funding specific efforts from both the county and looking at the city as well. And supporting increased state funding for Shelby County education needs. We know that the state is low on the level of state funding across the board if we look across the country, and that is definitely a need to increase state funding. Next area, thank you. Great school facilities. So developing a school facilities investment plan. One of the things Shelby County Schools has been focused on is reimagining 901 plan for facilities. And then, of course, once they have a plan, we need to have the funding to secure to implement the plan so that all of our students are in great facilities. and then identify opportunities. I would say this is a pilot opportunity, but opportunities for Shelby County to look at and reuse vacant school facilities. So what does that start to look like as we close school buildings and reuse them? Next slide. Holistic support for children and youth. So building a trauma-informed and responsive county. So one of the recommendations coming out of this was not just, Shelby County Schools has committed themselves to being a trauma-responsive school district, but this was saying, how do we do that across our county as a whole? Identify strategies to support children and families in our highest need communities, looking at both in-school and out-of-school opportunities. So just like Sanji mentioned, thinking about community schools and connecting resources in schools and out of schools. Place a focus on funding and supporting social emotional learning and adverse childhood experiences across the K-12 spectrum, and increasing the support staffing in schools, so counselors, social workers, behavioral specialists. Identifying community opportunities to promote school attendance and decrease chronic absenteeism. We all know that's a big problem as well that impacts academic performance and success. Increasing after school and summer programs that improve student achievement. Increase community support for education as a catalyst to economic issues. So what's the connection between education and our workforce and increasing economic opportunities, and a cradle career pathway for students with support from birth to adulthood. Next area. Youth opportunity for the future. So this is a big one. I won't read through all of these. Again, you can read through them as we go through, and you can look at them in the document. But really, how do we start to look at opportunities to, again, connect in education across the K-12 and into post-secondary opportunities for college and career, and ongoing to thriving lives for everybody in Shelby County. And that is in large part a focus on opportunity youth. And I think of it as opportunity youth are youth in between the ages usually of 16 to 24 or so, who are not in school or not working. And so we have one of the highest rates across the country of opportunity youth. So how do we address that specific need? One, as I think about it, turning off the spigot so we don't create more opportunity youth, and supporting the young people who are not working or in school right now to provide a bridge to thriving lives and opportunities. Next focus area. Oh, that was the last one. Thank you. All right.
All right, thanks, Cardell. And so we were charged also during the leadership meeting. The mayor specifically asked this question. He asked, what are persistent problems in our community that have just continued to persist, right? So challenges in our community that continue to persist. Those are the kinds of things we want to tackle as a group. In the leadership group, 4 things were mentioned, and I'll mention those really quickly, sort of give you an idea of some actionable items that could take place. One was the offering and availability of menstrual products for young ladies who are coming into their womanhood. It's those who are familiar with that situation. I have a 15-year-old at home. Understand that that is a challenge for a lot of young ladies, and we want to help meet that need. So a second one was truancy, which is not a new challenge once again, but a comprehensive approach to mitigate that at this point may not have been effective or may not have been as broad reaching as it could be. And so that was another one suggested. The third one was one after my heart as a former school principal and superintendent, is transition and bridge programs. And so how do we address the gaps that exist when students transfer from 5th grade to 6th grade, elementary to middle, and then from middle to high school, 8th to 9th grade, and then as they matriculate from high school into college and career situations. And so that's a third thing that was recommended. A fourth one was very current as educator in this space we're in now, support for parents in virtual learning. So those were 4 consistent challenges that sort of elevated in our current space that that was recommended that this group tackle. But that's not all. There are many others that exist. But what we wanted to do, and I told you we were a get something done crew, right? So what we wanted to be able to do is to literally break you into groups. And so, and start to tackle these things. And so we can emerge with some actionable items that we as a group can rally around. So Cardell is going to take a minute to sort of facilitate our transition into these groups so that you can reach into the Google Doc, take some very pertinent and relevant notes so that when we rejoin, we can do a really quick overview. So I'm gonna do a time check, Janet. It is 10:08. And so Cardell, as I hand it off to you, be aware of the time. And so when you charge us with the time in small groups, we will know when time we will return. All right.
Thank you. And you know, one of the challenges, of course, is many of you have been through efforts like this, is how do we get good information in a small amount of time? So we thought it'd be great to break out as many breakout groups as possible. Hopefully you'll be in breakout groups with around 5 people. We will need somebody in that breakout group to take notes for us. And we are hopeful that somebody will rise and help to facilitate yourselves through the questions we have. As I linked earlier, and I'll put it in there again, just in case, we have the Google Docs that we hope that everyone in the breakout groups will pull up, at least one person, to walk through the 3 questions that are in that document, or the 4 areas in that document. 3 questions and then 1 figuring out what you're going to bring out to the whole group. So what we want you to explore in this breakout room is, what do you hope to work on through participation in this committee? So again, filtering up, many of you have already said as we did introductions, but trying to filter down, what do we really hope to accomplish? And as Cedric said, as we think about our action and moving things forward, what are those things that we can accomplish? And again, in the way that Mayor Harris put it, what's something that's always been a problem, always been a challenge, or continues to be a challenge that nobody has taken up? And so how do we come together as a committee to not just think about how we do a single project or get something done? I always think of it as kind of the single project approach from committee work, or the senior project of like, let's do some project that we can say we got done. But think in a systems way of what's a problem that we can think about, that we can address across our whole county. The second piece is thinking about that. So in addition to reviewing the areas from the transition report, what rises up from there? Or is there something that was missing? And Cedric read off a few things that we've gathered even in between time. So is there a priority that's missing from the current set of recommendations? So we want everybody in the group to level that up. And we're asking you to, 1, put it in a focus area, 2, say who the decision makers are in that, and then whether you see it as a short-term or long-term goal. So those are the things that we want to get for each recommendation, so we can really think about how do we consider this and start to move it towards consideration for the whole committee. And then what can members of this committee do to support the priorities? So we want to hear from you about how you're going to be action oriented along with us, how we move these things forward, and what you think that your organizations, you as leaders, will be able to contribute to moving to action with the priorities that we set. And then what we want you to do is to get, and hopefully our time works out that we can actually do this, get you to come back with what are the 2 takeaways that you want to bring back from your breakout room into the full group to share out. And again, I'm not sure, because we want to give you as much time as possible in the breakout rooms. So we may start to cut that, I'm thinking, right now. If we don't, and we might just ask you to share that in the chat, or we'll share it later after the meeting as we try to give you more time there. So we are at 10:10, and as soon as we finish, again, pull up the document, select a note taker, and then start working through the questions in the document. By the magic of Zoom, you will be facilitated away into your breakout rooms, and so you should just start talking. You will not have a facilitator there. You will be your own facilitators to walk through these questions. So just want to make sure those pieces are clear as we go. And we will give you 30 minutes. We'll start off at 30 minutes and we'll check in with the rooms periodically and with the notes document. So I got it pulled up. So I'm gonna see if you're taking notes or not. So be aware, and we will warn you if we don't see people taking notes. So that's it. Any big questions that anybody has before we zoom you away? I will take that as acclamation. Thank you. who am I looking at? Janet? Who's gonna spirit us away? Quinn?
Trial version. Trial version.
Are you trying to do something, Cordell?
Trial version.
Hey, Cordell, what are you trying to do?
Hey, oh, nothing. I just came back into this room just to check in with you to see if we're okay. And
Yes.
then we probably need, can you bring Janet back into this room?
She would have to return.
She's got to return.
Yes, I can text her though and tell her to come back to the main room.
Yeah.
She probably did.
If you,
Yes.
do you want the leadership to not be in breakout rooms?
If we can, yeah, if we can come back, I'll text Cedric too to tell him to come to the room just so we can coordinate and see what's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Quinn, do we have them, are they labeled as the breakout room numbers?
It's just breakout room 1, 2, 3, and 4. But Janet said each of the leaders will be in separate breakout rooms. So everyone was assigned to separate breakout rooms as far
No,
as.
so there's only 4 breakout rooms?
Yes. Janet, Cardell, Cedric, and April.
No, okay.
It said it in the.
No, it's supposed to be 8 breakout rooms.
She told me it was supposed to be 4 breakout rooms. Well, yesterday she said it was supposed to be 4. Today,
Yeah, we adjusted that. I thought, yeah.
Today it said in the agenda 5 to 6 people per room, but
Right.
I figured y'all just, estimate it low or something.
No, because that's why we were trying to, okay, she didn't communicate that to you. That yesterday we said we didn't need to be in the rooms because we were going to have them facilitate themselves so we could have more rooms. So, okay.
Okay, yes. None of that was communicated to me, but
All right.
I can see if I can join it really quick or pull them from it.
Well, no, that's fine. If they're in the room, then yeah, I guess you can leave them there.
All righty. Because I was wondering what she meant by like the second one. I was like, okay, because yesterday.
The second,
You said by the second what?
The second bullet point on the 10:05 timestamp, I guess you could say. Because yesterday, the last thing that was communicated to me was we're going to need 4 breakout groups, 1 for each leader. And then she told me you all, like you 4 would be the leaders.
Yeah, and that's what we changed. Yeah, I had said it before in the emails, and we talked about it yesterday when we met at 4:30. And so, yeah, and that's my fault too, because I wasn't on earlier to make sure that we had it. So it's fine. It'll be fine. It'll work out. Dr. Strange, you popped back in? Oh, we got Jeremy must be just joining. Jeremy, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, you just popped in, right? You haven't been here?
Yeah, I just popped in maybe about 5 minutes ago.
Okay. So did you catch any of the pieces? Because we're in breakout rooms now, going through the different questions. I will give you, if you look in the chat, I'll link the document that we're looking at in the breakout room that has like some recommendations and questions in it. And then I'm going to have Quinn send you into one of the breakout rooms, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm looking on my phone because I got another meeting for work that's going on at the same time, but I wanted to make sure I was here for the first one.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, we'll send you to a breakout room, and then if you need to just listen, that's cool as well.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Quinn, send them to.
Alrighty, so I've already sent him to it, but I believe since he joined after they were already created, it might be a little more difficult or a different process for him to join. But you might see a breakout room. It looks like blocks. It'll be 4 blocks.
He's gone now. Did you send him into the room? Maybe he found the thing.
One, but I don't know.
Okay.
Oh yes, he's in it. He's good.
Okay.
Good. They had a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
We ended up with the 4 breakout rooms and not the 8 instead. So we got larger breakout rooms.
Yeah, I think that was a miscommunication between me and Kim. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully, I think when I said 5 to 6, I think maybe we thought, I don't know, but it'll be okay.
Yeah.
When
it's a
you
little
said
bigger.
5 to 6 people, I just thought y'all were expecting like a smaller turnout or something. And then as people started coming in, I'm like, it's 10 or 11 in each room. I'm like, okay, well maybe this is a good type of surprise or something.
I see. Okay. That's I should have clarified.
They'll work it through. They'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm listening to the other group on my tablet.
Oh, okay. I was like, how are you doing that at the same time? Okay, you're logged on twice.
Yeah.
The group that I was in had a lot of actually good questions. And I wonder if we can put some of the information in the chat that the 4 focus areas are, it's like a context. They don't have to necessarily focus on those. And then the 4 new ones that Cedric brought us were just brainstorms that we recently had. Again, doesn't mean that they have to work on those. So that was a kind of a question that sort of came up a couple of times.
Okay.
So maybe I'll put that. If I do, Quinn, if I put something in the chat to everybody, even in their breakout rooms, will they see it?
I know as a host, I have the broadcast option. And
Yeah, you got to do the broadcast. They won't see it in the chat, so you got to do the broadcast.
That's why I was like, I don't think you can do it during the chat. That's why I was saying for the Google Docs and everything, mention it before breakout.
You might want to make Janet the host, and then Janet, you can do the broadcast.
See, but the broadcast only like it pops up for a little bit and then it goes away. So she's putting a lot. You might have to post it a few times.
Okay. Maybe let me think how I can write this succinctly then. And also, oh, I am the host now. Oh, that makes me nervous because I don't know how to get people back from the breakout room.
It's automatically going to close. You can do it after you do the broadcast. So you can, right after you broadcast, you can make me the host again.
Okay.
But
that
it'll
makes me nervous.
Like pull them back out from it in 30 minutes.
And we could, I mean, you could also put it in the Google Doc too, because everybody will see it in the Google Doc. If you wanted to put it as,
Yeah.
I think you could do a.
You know what? And I don't even know where is broadcast.
It'll be, so once you go to the breakout room, so you'll either.
Oh, I see broadcast message to all. Okay. All right, Cardell, help me work on some wording here. I'm going to say focus areas are ideas to build upon.
And those were pieces that were brainstormed just in another meeting. And so those are.
You're muted, Cardell.
I was talking to the other group.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I just said, see if this is succinct enough. 4 focus areas Cardell shared are ideas to build upon. 4 ideas Cedric shared are brainstorms. They are jumping off points. What do you think?
Yeah.
We have a new person joining, Quinn.
I don't see anyone.
I'm going to admit, I don't know how to put them into a.
Oh, because I'm not a co-host. Okay, you can make me the host again now.
Okay. How do I do that? Okay.
You just hover over my name and then click more.
There we go. Make co-host or make host?
Make host.
Make host. And Quinn, how do I, if I want to jump into breakout rooms, can I do that?
Since you're a participant, you can't jump like from room to room. Like
I cannot.
You can join and like leave, join and leave. But as a regular person, basically, or even as a co-host, let me see if you can do it as a co-host. Okay, you can try it now. Can you see the breakout rooms?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I don't think it's a way you can. But,
Okay. Oh, wait, no, wait. It says join breakout room.
Can you see it? Like all of them, or is that just?
So I would encourage.
You think I
all
should not?
to power through and not try to solve each issue right now.
You're already on, basically assigned to a breakout room. Then you won't be able to go like back and forth.
Gotcha. Okay. It looks like Cardell is chiming in on a breakout room from time to time.
Yes, he's joining from 2 separate devices. So
Okay. So then there is somebody in each breakout room. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay. So then I'll go back to mine and see if they have any questions.
Okay.
Okay. Cardell.
I think he's actively speaking.
I think he's, yeah, talking in his breakout room.
His initial thought was he wanted like the leadership to be back here, like talking. But he said something about Cedric and April. He just said, never mind. But by the time he said that, you were like coming back to the main room. So
Gotcha. Okay.
you stay in there by now.
All right. I'll go back and check into the breakout room then. And then feel free to call me back though.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Yes, sir. You hear me?
He might be listening in on his breakout room.
Okay.
Janet ended up joining too back to the main room, and he's spending most of his time in the breakout room. So he might not hear you. It was like,
All right, I'm sending him, I'm texting him.
at first, I didn't know you all had discussed yesterday to make it 8 groups and to have the leadership team not assigned to groups. So I didn't know that was discussed, but yes.
Yeah, the group I was in, they seem to be clicking along pretty well.
Janet,
So,
Were you in the group? Which group were you in? Were you in the one with Sylvia Martina with Girls Inc.?
yes,
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, and from the notes you can tell.
if they were flowing.
All right. So yeah, I just wanted to, because I mean, with these questions that have come up and the larger groups, just wanted to get back together. I don't know if they're going to get to a stopping point in the like 10 minutes they got now. So just how we want to bring them back together. And I guess we could give them, what do we have till 11?
We've got to 11, right? The meeting not over to 11.
So if we rock until like 10:50, maybe we get them extra time, and then we don't have report outs when they come back.
Right. I think that what we'll just, when we all come back to the main group, I think we just tell them we'll take the Google Doc and, summarize everything and then shoot it back to them between now and the next time we maybe call for another meeting. Because I think we talked about getting them back together again before we meet with the leadership group. So since we're going to do that anyway, and it probably would be better after the other subcommittees meet too. What you think?
Yeah. I mean, we won't be able to do it. We won't be able to do it before because, I mean, just the holidays and everything like that. So we're going to be in December anyway.
Right.
And then we can give them maybe one of our emails or something like that, or both of our emails, like so that they can send us if they want to, or they can continue to add to the Google Doc if they want to do that. So we can tell them they can do that.
Yep. Just keep the Google Doc live. Right.
So,
okay. So then when we come back, go ahead.
The breakout rooms will automatically close in 9 minutes. That was also something that was discussed yesterday. I don't know.
Can you increase that?
Can
you increase the time?
You cannot. So the thing is, the only thing we can do that's possibly similar is close it and then reopen it for about 10 more minutes. But it won't be seamless. They'll all be shifted back here and then be shifted back to the breakout rooms.
I don't see that as a big problem. I mean, it's just virtual space, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll lose anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. But just bring them back, say we're going to give you,
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Yep, and go back at it.
Did you all want to go ahead and do that now? Or did you want to let the time run out and then add 10 more minutes? Because right now we have 8 minutes and like 15 seconds left.
We can let the time run out, I think. And then, at least so we get to 10:40. And then is that the, sorry, listen back to the group. And then maybe we bring them back and then send them back with like a goal to finish up and
make sure you've wrapped up, make sure your Google Doc is complete. And then maybe we'll bring them back and let them know this is a time check and not a completion, right? We're not wrapping it. Just wanted to do a time check and a process check. So we'll give you 5 more minutes. We'll send you back and make sure that you've completed your Google Doc. And then when we come back in 5 minutes, we'll wrap up.
Yeah. And so maybe when we bring them back, we'll clarify some of the questions, because I know there were questions in ours about like whether they had to do the ones that they needed, the ones that were on the list, or like what they start off with questions where you were, Cedric? Anything?
Yeah, we just reviewed the 4 areas and then the 4 recommendations from leadership, and I just told them that we didn't have to be pigeonholed to that. And they weren't. They just dived into something else.
Okay. So and then when we bring them back from the breakout groups, the second, like to close out, what do we want to do to close out? Do we need a lot of time, or maybe we just need 5?
Next steps. We'll just do next steps and then the plan. So the plan ultimately would be to gather all of the information from the Google Docs and then put them in some sort of, almost like we did the survey, some sort of easy to read summary of what you all discussed. And then try to plan to bring everybody back sometime in January to make sure that what we sent you is accurate. And then you and I and Janet, we can all tell them at that point what we will report to the leadership team. Does that sound right?
Yeah. So Janet, what we said we're gonna do is they're gonna default back in just a few minutes, and then we'll send them back to the breakout rooms for another, do we want to say 15 minutes if we're gonna, or 10 minutes?
No, I think another 5 to 7 would be enough. Yeah, because at that point, we'll be bumping up to 11.
It'll be 10:40 when we bring them back. Oh yeah, so and then it'll be like 3 to 5 minutes to get them oriented and send them back. Then we'll send them back for 10 more minutes. So then we'll come back at about 10:55
and then wrap
to finalize.
So did you want to?
You're on mute, Janet.
Do you feel like the groups need a little more time to talk?
Yeah, because they're the larger groups and we had the questions and I think in each one initially. And
Okay.
and I think we're not going to get through report outs anyway.
Right.
So it makes more sense to just give them more time in the group and then
Okay.
close out with less time or with a smaller like next steps.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna go back to 4.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll go back and let them know too.
And Quinn, you got that, right? Like, so we're going to do.
So on that, do you want to, okay, if we let the time run out, it'll be more so like 10:43, 10:42. Or did you want me to cut it off at 10:40, have them come back and then send it back?
Yeah, cut it off at 10:40, bring them back at 10:40, and then.
Oh,
yeah,
but
just so
wait,
we're on-
can you put them back in the same groups they were in, Quinn?
Yes,
You
it'll be
can.
the same groups.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Okay, cool. So we good?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Robin, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning. I am here.
How you doing?
I'm awesome. Let me start my video. I actually had some car trouble this morning, and I had to help a young kid out this morning. So let me get my video going.
No problem. How you doing, brother?
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
I don't know. I appreciate it. What organization are you with?
So I'm with Developing Noblemen Academy, DNA, right
Okay.
here in Memphis, Tennessee. We service the Raleigh community in North Memphis. We have kids from Orange Mound and Whitehaven, but most of our kids are from Raleigh and North Memphis.
Okay. Well, folks are in breakout rooms now, and we're going to bring them back and then send them back to breakout rooms. So when they come back, we'll send you into one of the breakout rooms.
Yes, sir. Okay.
The other folks, but appreciate you being able to show up. What's up, Sam?
How you doing, Cardell?
I'm doing good. So Cedric, you kicking folks? You gonna do this?
Yeah, they're gonna, as soon as everybody jumps in, we'll let them know. We'll give them a few more minutes to sort of wrap up the Google Doc, and then we'll come back in big group and talk the next steps.
All right, 7 minutes. Here they come back.
Cardell, why you pull us out of our group?
Blame it on Cardell. That's good. Look, team, we realize
he the first face I see.
Yeah. We realize that the discussion is so very fruitful. We wanted to give you a few more minutes. So we're going to give you 5 to 7 more minutes to go back into breakouts so that you can wrap up your information onto your Google Doc. And then we'll come back to whole group in about 5 to 7 minutes and do a wrap up, okay? We won't do the report out per group, but we're relying on you to put all of your information in the Google Doc so that we'll have time when we get back to talk about what next steps will be. So if Quinn is still on, she is so gracious to send us back to our breakout rooms. You'll have 5 to 7 minutes to wrap up your discussion. All right, thumbs up, everybody good? Awesome, okay. Quinn, take it away, or take us away.
All right. Did you give them 8 minutes? Did you get my note?
No, I didn't set it.
Oh, you can set it now?
I can't set it afterwards. I was just gonna wait on you all's call.
Oh, okay.
So you
So
can tell me when you're ready to close it. I'll press close and then they'll get that same sequence.
Okay, so you didn't put a timer on it?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, awesome. Good. All right. Because I think we can give them a few more, like a little bit more time if we're going to try to bring them back at like, if we only need like 5 to 7 minutes to close out, hopefully. So we can maybe bring them back at like 10:53 maybe, 10:50, 10:53. I'll check with Cedric and see. I'll stay on this one and then let you know.
Hey, Craig Littles, are you here? Maybe he left the meeting already.
Yeah, he might just be away.
Okay, he went there. Oh no, he left the meeting.
So it was you this time, Miss Janet.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Cedric, go ahead.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We appreciate your time. I know some of us didn't complete all of our conversation. Please note that we will keep the Google Doc live, and so that you can continue to add information into that Google Doc. Next steps include, where at some point we'll gather all of the information from the Google Doc and summarize it, and then send it out to you in preparation for a meeting again in January. Now we're targeting January because all of the subcommittees will meet with the leadership team in February. So we want to make sure, number one, we've accurately captured your ideas, and secondly, given everyone an opportunity to not only filter through what you've already thought about, but any additional information as well. So we're really excited that you had an opportunity to share. Remember our motto, we're about getting stuff done. So please be sure that you drop everything that you need into that Google Doc and into the breakouts that you were in, so that we can accurately capture your thoughts and ideas to report them to leadership. Janet, I think if you would share with us the possibilities of the next meeting, which probably will be January, would be my guess, correct?
Let's see, actually, if we're going quarterly, this is, what are we in now? November, December, January, February. So with the next leadership team meeting we'll have one in November and one in January, but this next Children, Youth, and Education, the next one will be in February. I may have written that wrong somewhere. Does this time of day, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think we had talked about trying to get this group together maybe ahead of the next meeting. So I think what we want to do is that we had such rich discussions going on, a lot of information to process, that we may try to see if we can pull together a time ahead that we can at least report out and go through some of these pieces. Is that okay, Janet?
That's absolutely okay. I'm always worried to tax more time, but if that's something that you all want to do, I'm absolutely great with that.
And if folks are okay, y'all can maybe nod. We can see across the board if folks think that would be good. That we want to try to pull together the information, like Cedric said, in this document, get it back out to you, and I think try to touch base again, either right before or right after the leadership meeting, but probably before we had scheduled a next meeting for ourselves, just because if we're going to try to get a lot of things to go through or try to process this information and try to get input on where you all think the priorities should be set. So Cedric and I and Janet will go back and try to figure out the best process to try to get that information from you. And so you may get a survey, you may get something that you can kind of start to rate the different priorities we have. And as we go through that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Janet.
That sounds good. So look forward to information from us that succinctly states all of the information you've dropped in a Google Doc, number one. And number two, look for a possible date to meet before the leadership team meets again. Jan, does that sound accurate?
That sounds accurate to me. And we do have, you know, about, I would say 20 organizations that weren't able to come to this session. So we'll also try to find a way to engage them with the same questions that you all discussed today too, and add that to the synthesized information.
All right, so awesome job with the 1,000 people that are on this call. We're grateful for all that you are doing to help the children and families in our community. So look forward to next steps coming up soon. Please, please, please stay safe and be well between now and the next time I see you. So if there's nothing else, Janet, I'll let you formally close us out and send everybody off to a happy Friday. Cardell, you need anything else?
Nope, I think that's great. Just asking everybody to bear with us. Like Cedric said, we're moving towards action and moving towards the best process, but we are, and cheers to everybody because we are the first group to do this. So they're gonna learn from what we did. And we are all gonna move together clearly. I think Cedric and I can both put our emails in the chat. So if anybody has any questions or ongoing comments about how to move this work forward, I know both of us will be happy to hear from you.
With Thanksgiving in mind, I cannot be more grateful to all of you for your commitment to this endeavor, and particularly to Cedric and Cardell for their leadership. Thank you to Momentum for being thought partners in this effort, and to Alex and Quinn because I couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Be safe.